take to be successful? If you'd asked me that question years ago, I would have had a simple answer. I would have said, you've got to be smart and work hard. Putting it a bit more crisply, you need to have wit. That means being intelligent. Here's a man with a lot of wit, Albert Einstein. And you need to have grit. You need to work hard and persevere, like an athlete, like this high jumper. Of course, this old view of believing in wit and grit is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and today I'm going to trace the evolution of my thinking. Here's an example of a young man who we hope has wit and grit, otherwise he won't do well in his test. Here's a somewhat older group. We really hope they have wit and grit because this is a situation room in the White House and they have to make some pretty tough decisions. So we hope that they'll have wit and grit as well. Today, I'm going to review research that I've done as a psychologist over the last 40 years or so. And I have really changed my mind about the importance of wit and grit, and that's the story that I'll be talking about. This is how I looked a few years ago when I started my work. And at that time, I was a prototypical believer that intelligence was a single thing. We had a single computer in our mind brain. If it worked well, we'd be smart in everything. If it was sluggish, too bad. We would not be able to do anything at all. And of course, what I believed in at the time was the IQ test. Probably everybody here has had an IQ test. The IQ test purportedly tells you how smart you are. Unfortunately, if it tells you you're not smart, you're in big trouble because you think you're not smart. And that's not a good idea to walk around with for the rest of your life. What I did in my research is I worked with young kids of different age, different talents, different backgrounds, watched them do all sorts of things, and I discovered that if a child was good in one thing, it didn't necessarily mean that he or she would be good in other things. More dramatically, I worked with brain damage patients, individuals who had the misfortune of having a stroke or some other kind of brain lesion. And the single most important thing about brain damage is where it occurs. Is it the left side or the right side of your brain? Is it anterior or posterior? And as you may know, the location of the lesion tells you what abilities are knocked out and which ones are spared.